All right, guys, I'm sorry I wasn't listening. What episode is this? This is 4? I think this is 4 now. Because you and I did 1, then we had Chris on, then we had Malcolm on. Yeah, this 4. Is number 4, man. Dude, we're almost at 5.
Let's go.
This is a good wrap. Dude, so off air, we were talking a little bit, and we were discussing bad situations. Where my mind was going was, I was listening to, of course, my favorite podcaster of all time, Joe Rogan, and he had a gentleman on named Michael, and Michael was talking about, like, he helps people learn how to survive in, like, wilderness situations, and like if, like, you go through, like, an apocalypse or stuff. Yeah. And, you know, like, as a guy, I just feel like we kind of like to flirt with the idea of everything going wrong. You ever feel like that?
Yeah, no, honestly, sometimes, but I'm like, how would I handle that?
Is that toxic? Are we toxic?
I guess so. Honestly, it's like, I think that's a toxic mentality.
That's
like,
a toxic mentality.
You like expect like the you go what's like the worst case scenario in any situation? You try and figure it out. Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're talking about.
I've been thinking, like, is it a defense mechanism, or are we truly just bored? Like, so, like, in his particular situation, like, this guy teaches some amazing things, and some of the stuff that's happened to him is absolutely sad. You know, the way he's been attacked and discredited, although he does not deserve it, and people shouldn't believe it. So I'm going to send you the episode because you got to go watch it.
Yeah, no, send it to me.
But so on this episode, he talks a lot about, like, what he teaches people. So he teaches people surviving in the wilderness. He teaches people, if things go wrong, do you have a survival pack? If you don't have a firearm, reasons you may want to get a firearm.
Yeah.
Firearm safety classes, stuff like that. And, like, I thought back to Joe Rogan as he was sitting there with him. And I was like, dude, Joe's so capable. Like, think about if something went wrong. Joe knows how to hunt. He knows how to kill his own food. He knows how to clean his own food. He knows how to cook his own food. You know what I mean? He's gone on hunts. He knows firearms probably fairly well, I'd assume. He knows jiu-jitsu. He knows, like, kick, like, Muay Thai to some degree. He knows everything. He's got the whole thing, and he's just a smart dude. And I started thinking about myself, and I was like, yo, like, oh, my God. I was like, dude, I'm starting to work on it. I don't know, dude. I'm getting fat. That's how we find out, huh? So I'm like, yo, like, I'm like, dude, like, I'm trying to learn all that stuff too. Like, learn martial arts, mixed martial arts. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm fairly physically capable because I'm in the gym. Like, I want to learn firearm safety and stuff like that. And then I was thinking, like, yo, I don't know how to hunt. Like, so now I kind of want to learn how to hunt. Like, I want to learn how to make sure that I know how to handle myself in a tough situation. And we can talk about on this episode all kinds of tough situations, but let me ask you a very simple question. You have any plan in place if stuff just went wrong tomorrow? I thought about this a lot during COVID. Like, when we were all trapped up in the house and we were at the store watching people, like, fight over toilet paper rolls.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you all turn on each other at a moment's notice.
For toilet paper.
For toilet paper, bro.
Or water, which water is one thing, but toilet paper is
a whole nother thing.
Dang. I kind of thought about this, but not like that deep. But it's funny because my dad always tells me, he's always like, yeah, even my mom, but my mom not so much. She don't be like bragging like that. But my dad always told me, he's like, yeah, you have it good now. Like, you know, back in the day, like back, you know, where I'm from, because I've seen where he grew up. It was like a mud house, like, you know, in the middle of a farm. And so he's like, you know, we had to cook our own food. We had to ring the chicken. You know what ringing the chicken is? It. Yeah, that whole thing. He's like, I hate it because my dad loves animal. A raindrop? Drop top? No, I don't think so. Is it?
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Fine.
We'll get poured on just for you guys.
That's totally fine. And so he would tell me that stuff. I'm like, dang. I'm like, if something were to, and he always clowns me. He's like, man, you would never survive in the wilderness. And I think like you too. I'm like, yo, like, okay, you know, I'm physically capable to some extent. You know, I go to the gym. You know, I can cook a good meal. But like to actually like, I could probably hunt, like, you know, kill an animal. Like, that's fine. But like to actually like straight up like take the meat out, like, you know, the whole shebang. I don't know about that. That's different. That's different. But I do understand to the fact that's probably something you might want to learn, or at least like gain a good understanding. I
really like the perspective that they gave. The perspective they gave is if you never have to use this, at least you understand how to do it.
Exactly.
And it makes life so much more beautiful. Like, Joe Rogan is an advocate for putting people through really hard times so that they truly appreciate what good times look like.
Oof.
Like, he was like, how often do you appreciate a warm shower? Like, not really, right? Because we take them every day.
Every day. I appreciate
You appreciate it?
But I get what you're saying.
I'll be honest. I don't appreciate them all the time. When I get in the hot water, I'm like, oh, it's just hot water, right? But when he was like, dude, I went on this extreme hunt. It was like 7 days. It was like a week to 2 weeks, somewhere in that range. And he goes on this hunt, and then all of a sudden he gets to this really crappy hotel afterwards. And he's like, everything's like this fake wood on the walls, like all this stuff. It's not a 5-star hotel. It ain't, you know, the Four Seasons. And so he goes, but the water hit my body. And he's like, and it was just life-changing. Like, it made me reignite or really appreciate, rather, you know, how these little subtle things that we take for granted are truly, truly impeccable.
Yeah.
And I would challenge you to think about something. Could you, like, if everything went wrong and you went with your family in the woods, could you kill an animal? Like, could you, like, not like could you, like, morally, could you find an animal and kill it? Like, it's nighttime. I'm not finding nothing. I wouldn't know which mushrooms to eat. I wouldn't know how to get my own clean drinking water. Like, I would hopefully find water that's moving in a stream, but past that, I wouldn't know how to purify it other than boil it with a fire. But I'm like, I definitely couldn't kill an elk right now. Like, today, with what my resources that I have readily available to me, there's zero probability I'm killing an elk.
Honestly, so I think my situation is a little different.
Okay.
If I had my family, like my immediate family, you're talking like mom, dad, like immediate family.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm spoiled in a sense of like my mom's badass. I'm always gonna give her a shout out. She's badass. They grew up poor. Like, she didn't have a house. Like, she didn't get her first bed till she was like 15. Dang. She didn't get her first toy till she was like 15, 16.
Wow.
And so she would always tell us, she's like, yeah, like me and my 3 siblings, we would have to hunt squirrels or hunt like different things like that. And so I'm already thinking, like, in that situation, like, yo, mom, like, she finna know how to do this real quick. You know,
yo, Andrew said I'm gonna send my mom out there to hunt them squirrels.
Exactly, which is bad. People are like, damn, Andrew, you a little.
That's whack.
That's whack. But even my dad says, he's like, because I had this conversation, I think it was with my mom a while ago. And she had talked about it, and I'm pretty sure another person. It's like, right now, you probably are gonna tell yourself, be like, man, I wouldn't know how to do it. But I feel like mentally in that situation, like in any situation, you would at least get to some extent to you would be capable.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, because I look at the entirety of the circumstance. You're in the cold woods with no shelter.
So if you were hungry as heck,
if it was me in the woods, and I'm not talking about like right outside of like where I could walk around the corner and there's a H Mart or I don't know, some type of grocery store. I don't know. I'm talking about
I get what you're
saying. I went to Yosemite last year.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful place. And I realized something. I was like, oh, this is the closest I've been to wilderness in a minute.
Okay.
And there's still homes and trailers and all kinds of stuff. There was one moment where we were walking towards what I would assume is more towards the big mountain that everybody walks over. Someone's going to name it for me. But there's a huge mountain that everybody climbs up. Half Dome.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right?
I've heard of it.
Bro, when we got into the sticks and we stopped seeing people and it got like cold, and this was in the summer, by the way, but it was nighttime, and it got cold, and I was looking around. I was like, yeah, I'd die out here. If this trail were not here, and there was nobody in the next 50 miles to help me out.
By yourself?
By myself. I think
That's
there's
a different story.
I think there's a 10%. So let's go off of that. I think there's a 10% survivability rate. And it would be really, Yosemite would be a great place to be because the water's all flowing downstream. Like, hopefully you'd be able to get near one of the waterfalls and catch some water that's already to some degree sterile because it's flowing water. It's not stagnant. But also, you'd still need to boil it. You would still need to find food. What would you eat? Do you know what to eat? Do you know how to make sure that you don't, like, get frostbite at night? Like, let's say you have a sleeping bag and all that stuff. Perfect. But do you really truly know how to stay warm at night? Do you really truly know how to set up shelter?
You know how to build a fire?
And then how? Bro, no.
I do. I've even building these fires.
Seriously, with no splies, you could twist a stick and everything.
Yeah, I've tried it. I can probably do it. You just have to find like dry scrub.
Yep.
Which depends. If it's Yosemite is very wet, so it'd be very hard to find like
dry,
like freshly dry stuff to actually be able to build one. But I feel like for me mentally, I'd be able to survive for a bit to like stay warm, but like to actually like catch some food. I think my thing, it wouldn't be merely tough to catch the food. It'd be preparing it properly so I don't get sick.
Let me walk you through a scenario. Let's give some context. I'll even make it fun because I feel like this is a fun way to go. We've been taking the podcast so seriously. I want to have some fun with it.
Okay, no,
All
for sure.
All right, you get 3 people to come with you. You get to choose your bro.
Wait, 3 people that we know or
No, 3. Well, yeah. You know them on a first name basis. Nah. You got to choose.
I was like, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan right now.
I was like, that's my 3.
Joe Rogan. You remember Dave Chappelle where he's like, who's the greatest rapper alive? Dylan.
Yeah, no, I did exactly.
You get 3 people, and it's here's a good one. It's Yosemite. No. It's Yellowstone, and it's in the summer months. We'll make it easy on you, so you're not gonna necessarily freeze, but it probably still gets really cold at night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're in the wilderness, and you're up in the mountains or up in the hills in Yellowstone. There's forests, everything, and your goal is to survive for 6 months. What are the steps that you're gonna take, and who are the people you choose? And you get this is gonna be fun. You get 5 resources in your travel pack that you get to bring with you that have to benefit the group, ideally. You only get 5 resources. And they can't be anything insane, like not a car.
No.
Like 5 things that you could carry. I'm going to make it even more interesting. 5 things that you could carry with you to survive. Okay. What would you choose?
Okay.
And who would you choose? And how would you survive?
Who would I choose? Dang. People are going to be mad I didn't choose them. I feel like one would be my uncle.
Okay. Why?
So my mom's older brother. Dude knows how to do it all. Like he was the one that, like my mom tells me, he's the one that hunted the meal. So I feel like he's capable. He's like, he's one of those Mexicans. He knows how to do it. He'd be able to survive. That man knows how to survive. Him, and he also knows how to cook. So it's like best of both worlds.
Okay.
Dang, who'd be the other 2 that I can think of? Honestly, I would probably say both my parents.
Wow.
Like those 3, because my dad knows how to do a lot of stuff.
Man, you're good to go, bro.
Like he knows like a hut. He'd be able to build that, and so does my uncle. So I would have like my uncle would be able to hunt. My dad would need to know how to build a hut, and my mom would be able to know how to cook the food really well.
Okay.
And then pick the different stuff. 5 supplies. It would definitely have to be like one of those water purifiers, just
Great idea.
Just because even though we are going to be in an area where water is just constantly flowing to its purest form naturally, I would still want to make sure I'm not getting sick. The other 4 supplies, oh man, that's difficult. We're just in the middle of civilization. There's like nothing, right?
Yeah, there's no civilization at all.
At all. So like there's no point in having...
You're in the woods. There's no need for a radio. You can't call anybody. Make it easy on you. That way you don't waste one on the radio.
Okay, I'm gonna need to think about these 4 supplies. You give me your 3 people.
Okay. I got you. My 3 people.
I kind of know I feel like I know who you're gonna pick.
Do you really call them out?
At least one of them.
Call them out.
I know Big Mike. You already
for sure
know. You
I'm
already
Big
know
Mike.
for sure.
Shout out to Big Mike. Yo, it was so funny. We'll do the scenario next. We talked about like if we were in a war situation and you had like 5 comrades, who would you take and who would you go like overseas with? We did this whole scenario, and Mike didn't name me, and I was hecka sad. I was like, dang, he named all his military boys, which totally makes sense. Like he knows they're all prepared. He's seen them fight. But I totally named him. So Big Mike would be probably number 1 or 2 on my list. The other number 1 would be my brother Chris.
Okay, yeah.
It's so funny. Like even though I don't know of either of these guys' ability to survive outdoors, what I do know is that I trust their loyalty and I trust their resilience.
Yeah.
I trust their resilience. And then if I had to pick a 3rd person, let me think. I want to say Mac, but let me think. Like I really think I want to say Mac just because that's my dog, and I feel like also when we put our minds together, I feel like all of us would work well. But let me think. Because I don't want to miss somebody who's like really prepared for an outdoor situation. I don't really know people who go out and I want to be the first. Like I want to be the first in my family that's like, yo, who do you call to go hunt? Oh, it's Reg.
It's Reg. Oh, for sure.
I know how to fish well.
Okay. Dang.
So you know what I mean? So you can bring a fishing pole with you if it's one of your items. So anyways, I'm gonna say respectfully, if I had another, I'd choose you probably. But if I could choose 3 people, it'd be.
I feel like Mac's a good one.
Mac is probably knows.
I feel like just looking at Mac, he looks like he knows some stuff that you won't think he knows.
He probably wouldn't know much about surviving in the woods, but what he would know how to do is his intelligence is so high. He'd probably
that's what I mean. He'd be able to like
figure it out
on his own. Okay, 5 supplies. Actually, one of those I'm gonna add that fishing pole. Yeah. Actually, no, let me think of 4.
Okay,
because I can make a fishing
water
pole.
purifying kit, 1,010%. I'm choosing that. The second thing I would pack is, because I can carry it and we can carry it, would be an extremely large and well-insulated tent. An extremely large and well-insulated tent to protect us. Because, like, we're going to probably get shelter up, but in the meantime, that first couple days, you don't want to die of, like,
that's a good one.
Hypothermia.
That's a good one.
I would definitely bring probably a... I'd want to say a rifle. Yeah, I would bring a rifle. Probably.
Damn, you're giving good ones.
I'll definitely bring a rifle because, like, I've gone. This is not the same, but I've gone clay shooting and I've done some target shooting, and I'm fairly okay. And for clays, those things are moving super fast. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'd probably be able to, if something was like sitting in the woods and I was able to get downwind and I was able to kind of sneak up on it, maybe I could get a kill on a squirrel or definitely a bunny. A deer, probably, maybe or maybe not. 50-50 shot. I'd definitely choose a gun that has fairly good amount of ammunition. I would bring a fire starting kit, so flint and steel. I would bring flint, steel, and hopefully it comes with like the dry shrub pieces, you know, to help start fires. So what's that? Fire starting kit, gun, tent, the water purifying kit. And then I would probably bring some type of, this is going to be a weird one. I'm assuming we're already clothed, so I'd probably, like, we have boots and stuff like that. So I'm going to probably say, you know what I would do? I have a knife at home that's a fire starting knife. I would do a fire starting knife so I can get a 2-in-1 combo. So my knife has a flint on the back of it. You could take the flint off. So I'd have a nice sized knife because you're going to need a knife at some point. My last thing would be one of two things. It would be one of three things. It would be either a survival guide specific to that region to let me know what plants I can and cannot eat, to let me know or it would be a fairly sizable axe to chop down trees so that we can get timber down together, because with a knife it's not going to be very easy. That's true. Or the last thing I was thinking was going to be oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind now. It was the axe, the guide, or it was
you got like 7.
The multivitamin pack. I would have an extremely large multivitamin kit, specifically mainly heavy in vitamin C, because out there in the woods when you're not getting all the nutrients that you would normally be getting, you could really run into some problems with I'm gonna take a wild guess and say like even like, I don't know if scurvy you'd get necessarily, but you could definitely get some gangrene or some stuff like that.
But wouldn't that guide be a lot more beneficial? I feel like that guide would be, because eventually that's gonna run out. I would take the guide. So see, I like it. So
yeah. Okay, you're right. I take the guide over the vitamin pack, but that axe though.
The axe is good.
Axe might be necessary.
100. Yeah, but
if you have the fire starting kit, you could also just boil your water.
That's true.
So you could get rid of the purifying kit. What do you think? What do you think? Talk to me.
I'd still get the water purifier.
Okay.
I would for sure get a rifle like you.
Okay.
Some type of gun.
Yep.
I agree with you on the tent. I would at least get a tent. And this is, we're fully clothed, so we got a jacket, jackets, like, you know, clothes boots, and stuff like that.
Like good outdoor boots.
I feel like a knife would be really good.
Super helpful.
The fifth one,
I'd probably just change the knife out for the axe. Both sharp, both going to get the job done. It's going to be tough to cut, but if I had to choose between the two, I'd choose the axe, because
I feel like at some point just because you're going to find tree that's already fallen. You're going to find wood, but
you got to break the tree down. You got to break it down.
Bro, what you hitting the gym for?
What you think I'm about to put it over my knee and crack it?
Maybe.
I ain't that good, bro.
You said we ain't Chris. No.
Seriously.
Pop.
Seriously.
Dang, the fifth one. I'd still stick with the ones that I got. The fifth one, that's tough.
So what do you have so far?
Axe, so I have
water purifying kit.
Wait, gun. Did you say fishing pole?
No, not at mine. I just said I said fishing pole. Yeah.
So
but I know how to
kit.
make a fishing pole.
That's what I was thinking. Is you can make a fishing pole.
You could tie reeds together and then
dang, you got literally. I feel like we would pick the same stuff. Like those are all good.
Yeah.
Except for I wouldn't. the guide thing.
Or what I would do
I
fishing
wouldn't.
wise, is especially if you find a stream, just build a small dam or like a reserve with rocks in the water,
Yeah,
and then you
that's
just funnel
smart.
the fish.
That's exactly
and
what
then
you
you
do.
need to get like a large stick, and you smack the water
can make-
extremely hard, and it'll paralyze the fish.
Yeah, you would make.
Or at least
With
I saw
the knife.
I saw Bear Grylls do that. I don't know if
He
that,
said,
I don't know if that actually works.
Animal Planet.
I'm gonna try it though.
That's right. With that knife, you'd easily be able to.
Yeah,
a spear.
Mine was just so you remember was tent, water purifying kit, axe. I'm changing it to axe. Travel guide. And then fire starting kit. I could just do the fire starting kit on the knife, so I still have my knife in my fire starting kit. Did I miss something?
No.
Tent, rifle. That's
the only miss.
Tent, rifle, axe.
Dang, see, I want to steal yours because those are all good.
Maybe I'd find an axe that has a fire starting kit on it. Or in a real world situation, I can just
in
have
a
both.
real world situation,
But let's just say
keep it simple. You can only
let's
let's make it super simple.
You can't have two of one thing.
You
Okay,
can't have two
all
of one thing.
All right,
So
I got you. Travel guide, rifle.
I don't need that.
Yeah, you
travel guide?
You don't need the travel guide
No.
on what the plants are to eat and not eat.
No,
and what's gonna give you vitamins.
I would trust that. This is how much trust and loyalty. I'll trust the 3 people that I got.
Wow. Okay, I don't trust my 3 people that much. I love you guys. I'm sorry. I'm definitely doing travel like a field infield guide. Needs to have everything in it, like how to purify water, stuff like that. Fire starting kit, rifle, axe, tent. Big ass, well insulated tent.
Tent, water,
Excuse me, which?
water purifier. Tent, water purifier, knife, rifle. I can't think of a 5th one. I like low key want to.
You said knife already?
Yeah, so I said tent, water purifier, rifle, knife.
Then you could just.
I don't need
You
a
didn't say
5th
fire
one.
starting kit, did you?
I don't need a fire starting kit. I want to pick something that's like, I don't. I wouldn't need a fire starting kit.
So let's think about something
like,
else
let
that would
me-
be extremely helpful in a bad situation. Oh, med kit.
I was thinking about a med kit, so I was gonna say med kit, but I'm like,
Tourniquet, it needs to have a
I feel
tourniquet
like
in
there's
it.
one thing, because like as crazy as it sounds, like I have so much trust in
people?
my 3 people, because my mom and her brother, like they didn't have a home. Like they literally grew up in the wilderness, and they, like they didn't, like in Mexico, like they didn't have nothing.
They didn't have a home at all?
No, at all.
No physical roof over their heads.
They had
They
no
were
home.
outside.
They literally had
I
like
need
had
to
no
talk to- I
physical.
need to talk
Talk
to
to
you.
my mom. She's
I
like
need to talk to
they
your
had
mom.
like no roof,
She has way too many stories that we need to
and
tap
she's like
into.
and no family either. Their dad would come check up on
That's
them every few
insane.
months to make sure they were alive. I kid you not.
That's insane.
And I'm like, Mom, you lying? She's like, no. And even my uncle says it, like they took care of each other. That's why like when I hear that stuff like that, I'm like, oh. And she's like, yeah, that was like when that was like 30, 40 years ago. So like, yeah, I wouldn't want to eat squirrel now because now I live in luxury.
Yeah.
She's like, but would I be capable of doing it again? Yeah, sure, because I did it before. So I said, and even my uncle, like, they know their plants, like they know things that I'm like, how the heck you guys know this? And they're like, because of the way we grew up. So I said, I'm trying to think of something that I'm like, what's something like that we need that I know these 3 people would not be able to like.
A light. A very large light. Like your fire might do it, but
I feel like that'd
I
be.
don't know.
Dang. We need to start like a travel guide.
We need to do this, bro.
Travel
We need
channel.
to start taking some travel, like some serious
travel
wilderness
classes.
dude. Do some gun training, because like I think about.
I said
like,
I'd want
we're
to do
gonna
gun
get to the
training. I kind of want to do that.
We're gonna get to the scenarios as to why I think about this. Like that'll be towards the end of this. But like, okay, I don't want to deter.
No.
6
You're good.
months. Walk me through a quick macro. How you gonna survive? Macro thesis. Like you don't got to tell me day to day.
Yeah,
But what are some big things that you're gonna try and do?
Try and do right off the bat. Even though we'll have the tent,
Yeah.
I'd still want to build like shelter,
For
like
sure.
actually start building a foundation, because eventually that tent's either gonna get destroyed, like a whole bunch of stuff.
You gonna go to the side of a
Um,
mountain? Or are you gonna do next to a river? Or are you gonna do
I
right
feel like
in
the
the middle
side
of
of
the
a
woods?
next to ish a river, not on the side of a mountain, just in case we got a dip. We would only have one way to go, and if we're closed off by that one way, it's like, you know what I mean. So I'd close-ish to a river, enough like within walking distance.
Okay.
Like a good
It's like 2 miles, max.
max. Yeah, max. I was thinking like maybe half a mile.
Wow. So you're really close to water. Then.
Yeah, half,
Okay.
like a mile around there. I think a smart thing would be is to build, get a lot of produce, like try and find a lot of produce stuff. So like a lot of like things that like, can last a long time, because meat doesn't last too long, That you kind of gotta.
So mushrooms and
Yeah, things like that. So if in case we do need to like get up and grow, that's something easy that we can just pack. Boom,
Okay.
go. Those are like the two main things, honestly, is just building that foundation. Because after that, it's like if we're just trying to survive, we're just trying to
That's all you
survive.
need, yeah.
Like if we find a spot that we can stay there for 3-4 months, we want to stay there for 3-4 months.
yeah. I would it's just something you would think about bringing potentially is
A car so we can get out of there.
Yeah, seriously, facts. Salt, because like I wonder, salt helps to preserve a lot of things. You know, just if you had more than 5 items, salt would be something. So okay, so you'd build a shelter. That'd be your number one priority.
Yeah.
Build a
Aside,
shelter.
yeah.
Because then everything falls in place from there. Like, you don't need nothing with no windows, but you get a nice little shelter going.
Something
you
warm.
Can store stuff. You can
Store
now
stuff,
start
yeah.
to think.
Especially because like if I'm getting a tent, you know, I kind of want to like build somewhere, you know, like put some brush around the tent, so it's
Yeah.
not like we're not very like out there in the wilderness, because the wilderness is gonna do what the wilderness want to do. You know what I mean?
Run your ass over.
And so I ain't trying to be sticking out in a tent.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much follow you the same way. I would want to be within 2 miles of water source.
Yeah, just because.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
bro, something to carry the water in.
Oh yes.
Something to carry the water in. Pot, or like a something that, because you're gonna also need something.
That's
to
my
be
5th one.
Pot.
It's just something to carry the water
Carry
in.
the water in, and it has to be something you could cook the water in or boil rather.
Yeah, so
The
even like
water.
a one of those big ass hydro flasks.
Yep. Oh no, I would do like a pot.
But are you gonna be able to close the pot?
Yeah. Pot
Are
with
you
a
really
lid.
gonna? I guess, but like, how big of a pot? Like, I'd want to like something like one of those big. You know what I do? I'd
Probably like this size right here.
like that size. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like 2
That's big
gallons, 2-3 gallons.
Because I want something easy. If you walk 2 miles with a pot, you gotta run. You gonna leave your pot there?
Yeah.
You gonna
drop
dump?
it. Of course.
See, that's why I'd want to do like a big ass
course.
hydro flask.
The
I can just one of the ones with the handles. I can run with that.
I'm thinking about my ability to boil the water at
You can-
quantities large enough for 4 people.
Have you seen those big hydro flasks?
How big are they?
They got like the
You know how much
The
water we would need to consume on a daily basis?
Yeah.
I'd actually move our people closer to the water, probably about a half mile. And
that's what I was thinking, half a mile.
And I
'cause
would do- and I would
another
do a big-
another thing you got to think about.
Yeah.
Walking 2 miles, there's only 4 of you. Are you gonna do a buddy system? Are you
Yeah,
gonna
just
do
2 and
like
2.
2 and 2?
2 people stay back at the place.
I'd want it to be capable of like, if I'm walking far enough, if I gotta like go by myself, I'm capable to go by myself. So half a mile is not that, like quarter of a mile is not, you
I
know.
respect it.
Yeah, we thinking.
figuring this out.
I've low-key been thinking about this for the last now. I'm
Oh
kidding.
no, he's like
I got this set,
tinfoil
bro.
hat, bro. It's all coming to an end.
But I want. Continue. I want to know what you.
Definitely build shelter. I'm gonna steal your idea, move a little bit closer to a water source. I'm gonna say probably very quickly. I'm gonna scout out hunting areas, like where the so being near the water is good because animals need to drink.
That's
I'm probably gonna figure out a fishing net, and if not a fishing net, depending on how fast the water is flowing, I'm gonna figure out and how cold the water is. I'm gonna figure out if I can get in the water and build some type of blockade in the water that still allows water to flow through it, but stops fish in like a small, keeps a nesting area so that I can go in and grab them and do all that good jazz. And if I'm planning to stay put, I don't really need to find any. I don't need to get high up for any reason because I don't need a vantage point. I'm planning to stay put.
That's true.
But I would definitely scout out the area just to make sure there's no locals near me, like no other people near me. And then I would probably find some ability to do like a mixture of vines and rocks and anything I could find that makes noise. And I would probably set I'd probably set 3 perimeter layers. One at probably like 500 yards, one at 300 yards, and one at like 100 yards. And try and make it loud enough that
we can hear
if something falls over.
Damn, Boy Scouts need to hire you.
Yeah, I probably, hopefully my travel guide, I don't know how good travel guides are, but I'd
The
probably
travel guide
try
for
and
Cancun?
set some type of like, not dead weight trap to kill anything, but dead weight trap to like, once again, trigger an alarm. So like something in a tree that like you step on this, it's going to snap, it's going to help the thing come down.
Dang, what movies you watching?
I don't know. I need to watch more. Something else now that we're back from the break here. Something else that I think about is what would you do? What are the scariest things, most beautiful things and scariest things about like living in a high populous area is like if stuff goes wrong, you're pretty much kind of trapped low key. You know what I mean? Like let's think about what you would put in place. Because do you have a plan if stuff goes wrong tomorrow? Let's do something nice. We're not going to say a war. We're just going to say that we just went through COVID. So let's just say that something along those lines happens where all of a sudden you really, really start to value your space and you need to get out of the city because being around people is just not a good thing. We'll just leave it very baseline. Now, things you're going to have to face, and you can choose whatever tools you want. Things you're going to have to face is everybody else is going to have the same ideas as you. They're going to be trying to leave too. If you make $100,000 a year, and you've had 3 years of saving 25% of your income for this to save, to put towards. So you have $75,000. And I'm just trying to set a standard just so that we're all on the same page. You have $75,000 to play with. What all do you buy to have a plan in place? And I'll give you a bonus. You get a mildly prepared property somewhere, anywhere you want it to be in the world, but you start in San Diego. What are you gonna buy with the $75,000? You don't have to worry about the property. The property is wherever you say it is. So first you got to name, where's the property gonna be? What type of security metrics is it gonna have? It's got to be fairly can't be bulletproof windows and walls and no one can get in. It's got face scanning, retina scanning. But it's got to be it could be a cabin, or it could be a little hut on an island if you plan to go towards the ocean. And then tell me some of the tools that you buy. Everything has to be within $75,000 of preparedness, which, by the way, nobody has to do. Nobody's preparing that much except for extreme preppers. But what would you do if you started putting away money now and all of a sudden a few years you had $75,000 saved up and you were purchasing all the stuff and then some stuff went wrong? What would you get?
A lot of guns.
And you got to get up out of seriously.
A lot of
Fair
guns.
enough.
A lot.
So walk me through it. Give me.
Dang.
You don't have to go
where?
You don't have to go. Let's just say a lot of guns, just to be nice.
Say a lot of guns to be.
Okay, so you'd have guns. So let's just say your whole ammo pack, gun pack, $6,000.
Yeah.
I'll do $5,000. I'll do $5,000 to be reasonable with you.
$5,000.
Just so that now we're at $70,000.
$70,000. All right. Okay. A good amount of canned food, stuff that's gonna last a long time in water.
How much you thinking? 1,000? No, a little more. 5,000.
I'm thinking if stuff goes wrong.
Yeah, dollar amount wise, how much?
If stuff goes wrong, I'm thinking a couple thousand. So okay. I don't have to.
I'll make it easy for you. This is already in the cabin, so you don't even have to worry about bringing it.
Okay.
So that's easy,
Dang.
right? That's nice. It's very nice of me to set your pocket
super,
so
perfectly.
Come on
now.
Your pocket
so
looks.
So it's I don't need. You know what? The
Beverly Hills of
70,000. Just put it in my savings.
Yeah. Put it in a high yield investment account.
Dang, I don't know. Guns, I
got a couple ideas, but go ahead.
I kind of want to hear your ideas because
okay.
I honestly I wouldn't. I kind of know where I would go. I got two places that I would go.
70,000. I'm gonna buy a well-built, and I mean relatively well-built, not well-built like strobe lights or anything crazy, but a well-built truck, probably in the $40,000 range, maybe a Tacoma, and I'm gonna get an extended fuel bed in the back, in the bed of the truck, so that I can get a increased range, and I'm gonna set it up so that it can go all terrain, because there's a high probability that your highways are going to be completely dead stop. There's a high probability that you're going to need to find more creative ways of getting out of an area.
But at that point, if things went south, remember what the conversation we had? About the whole stealing thing? It's if it's either me or you.
Yeah, but here's what I don't want to do.
You don't want to have to go through that.
I don't want to have to. I need to get out as quickly as possible with my family. So a truck provides 5-6 seats, because we can lap up. I don't care. Yeah. 5-6 seats for about 40,000 plus maybe another 10,000 for the fuel bed.
Yeah.
So let's just say I wasted 50 G's right there. I'd have probably $2K. I know, right? I'd have $2K, 2 to 5. Let's say $5K worth of food. So
that's already in the house.
That's in the. I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
it still comes out of my money.
Yeah.
I'd have my 10K of guns and ammunition. It would be an extreme arsenal of guns and ammunition. Not to hurt anybody, but because people are going to try and hurt you and take what you have. My tires would be legit. my suspension would be legit. I'd have, what am I at now? Let's just say I'm at 60,000, so I got 10K left, 15K left. I would have, I already got food at the house, I already got storages of water that came out already.
Where would it be? Where would it be?
Oh, yeah, great question.
Because I kind of have an idea where mine would be. I got 2 locations, though.
If I said truck, I'm not going to the water. Plus, there's no islands off the coast of California that we could get to easily with a boat and 1 tank of fuel. And I don't have a boat in my scenario.
Thinking long and hard.
I'm going immediately east as fast as is physically possible. And I'm probably going to go up towards the mountains and drive as fast as hell. Hope nobody shoot at my car.
Okay.
And I'm going to try, and I'm going to have my cabin.
Oh, so yeah, if we're going to drive there,
I'd say at least 2 mountain ranges east. And by mountain ranges, I just mean like getting over the mountain. So like Ramona is like east of us. That's 1 mountain range to me. I'd probably go another mountain range east just so that most people won't be able to get there. And I'd probably bury it up on the side of a hill somewhere. Very hard to see. And I'd probably make sure that my road seemed extremely inaccessible. I'd probably put shrubs and stuff, and then I would know how to move all that stuff and get in.
Smart.
Because I just want to be left alone at that point. You know what I mean? And that's up in the hills. You can still find small animals.
Yeah. So you thinking.
Last 15K, what am I buying?
10.
No, I have a house up in the hill.
You said last 15K?
Yeah. Oh, you said. Oh, sorry. You said 10. 10K. I thought you said 10. An extremely good generator.
That's a good one. Those are pretty expensive too.
Yeah.
Like a big one.
10K.
Yeah, that's where your 10K goes.
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah. I think for me, where I would go. So my aunt, she lives up in like Lake Arrowhead area, Crestline. So they have like a cabin house type of thing. No, it's
in California.
No, California. So you know San Bernardino, like San Bernardino Mountains.
Yep.
So she lives up there, Crestline, Lake Arrowhead, kind of like by Big Bear. So she has like a cabin house out there. She has 2. One that her late husband gave her, that was already his, and then the one that she lives in. And it's a nice size house. So that's where I would go. Like, yeah, there's houses around, but no one, like where she's located, like no one would really go there too much, honestly. So that's where I would go, because it also would have enough room to house, because I have a big family. So it'd have enough room to house all of us. We used to go there for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
We would spend Christmas up there. And when it snows up there and like it rains up there, so it's not very much accessible when that happens. So I know I'd be locked in. As far as vehicles, yeah, which is a good thing to me, because obviously, at some point I'd have enough food to like survive the winter, and if I need to go down to get food, I'd be able to. Yeah. She has a Sequoia. My mom has a GMC truck. So what I would spend a good chunk of my money is like beefing those cars up. You know what I mean? My mom's car is big enough to, store me and my whole family. Hers is same thing. So I wouldn't need to buy a truck. So let's say I put like 10 grand into each of those.
Family is already ready.
Yep. Yeah. So I'd put, a good 10 grand into each of those. So and then I'd up my gun count to 10 grand. So that's 30 grand right there. So I'd have 40. I'd do the same thing. Get a good generator, especially up there. Spend a good 10 grand.
Yep.
That leaves me at 30K. Dang. That other 30K, I'd honestly spend in like a good, decent like defense mechanism for the house. So like lights, like extra lights. Cause like her house, it's like she only has like 1 light and it's not really lit up. But like
reinforced windows, dead
lights. Like more reinforced windows, more lights, like a kind of more like a security system around the perimeter of her house. Things like that. That'd easily be like
security system.
20K. I'd have like 10K left.
That's smart.
That last 10K. Dang, what's something else that I would need? I would honestly probably spend a good 5 of that on like extra like warm clothing, blankets, things like that, just in case. Like
Power's gone.
power's gone. Like I need some of that stuff, and like wood, things like that, because she has a fireplace, so it's like some wood.
Well, there'd be trees up there, so.
Yeah, but you know, if we don't have like an axe, well, if there is trees up there, like still like I'll get an axe. Let me just put it that way. But even if it's like wood, like if it's raining or it's like snowing, I ain't trying to go out, you know, have something. I'd be a good 5. And then I'd low key. This might sound dumb, but I'd low key want to get like 1 or 2 ATVs.
No, that doesn't sound dumb at all.
Like
you're
1 or
need
2
to be able to
ATVs.
get in through tight spaces.
Yeah, especially in a
take a truck.
situation when everyone's like ditch their cars. I guess I'd want to like at least get 1 or 2 ATVs.
Yep. That's
So I can at least throw like either myself in like a big bag of stuff. I need to go pick up stuff, or me and another person. We need to go pick up stuff.
I like it.
It's kind of
like it.
Yeah, but same thing. I'd go up in the woods. Up in the woods would be smart.
So now let's end on this question. You ever worry about things going all wrong?
Oh, heck yeah. 100%.
I think about it more now than I ever did. I don't know if it's just a stage of maturity where you're like, you start to really care about your family and you're like, how protected are we from bad situations? Or if it's also just the environment we're in where we're seeing more wars, more larger and larger guns being developed, larger and larger machines of war being developed. We're seeing COVID, like I said, was a huge eye-opener because...
That's what I was going to say. I think how... I don't want to say... I feel like when people say South, it's like put negatively, but how South things went with like how everything was just shut down quickly.
Yes.
Like colleges were shut down. Like all that was shut down.
No.
Like
the
all
speed, you're right.
The speed that
how
fast everything went wrong. I think it is very much capable for something even worse to happen.
Here's another thing, and I don't blame anybody for this because I just don't have the time to argue it with anyone, but how much misinformation came from it scared me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wear a mask. You don't wear a mask. You do wear a mask. You need three shots. You need 1 shot. Okay, just getting it is better than not getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're safe to go somewhere. We're not safe to go somewhere. Okay, stay home. Don't stay home.
Yeah.
Like what?
And that's kind of what we talked about, the whole agenda with different news outlets, different this, different that.
Before you even reach the agenda, I genuinely think there was an extreme lack of information.
Yeah.
Because the people who had access to the media were not the people who had access to the information. Like, just because you have access to reach us does not mean you have access to reach us with correct information. And I almost think that we put those people sometimes in a bad position where they feel like they have to say something to us because they're like, we got to say something to these people. Doesn't mean that they're saying the right things. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I totally get you.
It's a weird time.
Yeah.
It still feels like a weird time.
It does, and it feels like it's not going to go back, which is why we're obviously having it. Even though like this was a fun episode. This is kind of more like, you know, we've been serious for the last
3.
This is 4.
3.
The last 3. So kind of like this is a kind of like a fun one.
But it still made us think. Though.
But it still made us think, and that's the biggest thing is we're trying to make people think.
That's all we want to do.
That's.
And we want you to enjoy it.
That's true. That is true.
Food for
I
thought.
like that. That is a food for thought. Dang, this is a good one. I like it. This is a good.
I'm sorry I wasn't listening for. Peace.